Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is that you inky savages are joining us for episode number 152 of the PenBoyRoy Pentertainment Podcast. Thank you once again for joining us. Now, last week, Tom raised some concerns and questions regarding whether or not our sponsors for 2022 are going to continue sponsoring us for 2023. And I reached out to all our sponsors, being Gold Spot Pens, Luxury Brands of America, and BRLCoffeeCo.com. And guess what? They are all going to sponsor the podcast for the year of 2023. As a matter of fact, the owner of Gold Spot Pens responded to my inquiry by saying, of course we are sponsoring this year. Is that even a question? I like where her head's at. I like her mindset. I like the mindset. Now, we do have to come up with a new coupon code as of this episode. So,
we doing? No,
yeah, we do.
I think we have another week to go. I have it written on my calendar. We could do another week.
If you say we're doing another week, we're doing another week. So,
So,
speaking of sponsorships, thanks for all three sponsors for continuing to sponsor. And those three sponsors, Gold Spot Pens. I remember back in the day when before I started reviewing pens, and I was just figuring out just buying pens, right? Because everybody wants pens, everybody wants to buy pens, and yada, yada, yada. I just couldn't figure out who my favorite retailer was at the time, right? I was buying from Goulet, I was buying from Gold Spot, and it's really strange because at the time, the Gold Spot YouTube page sucked because it was really boring. It was just boring and dry. Wait, we didn't do the disclaimer. You can't call me that yet.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get fired now.
Yeah, no, you're fired.
Damn it.
Hashtag fire Tom. No, so at the time, I remember the Gold Spot YouTube channel. Like, really, it was just bad. It sucked. It was boring. It was lame. It was informative, but it was just so lame. And I wasn't even sure that it was a channel. I kind of just thought it was, like, what's the right word? Garbage. So I didn't know that.
You got it.
I didn't know that Gold Spot was like a company with actual people.
Real people, yeah.
We're like human beings working behind it. Because the YouTube channel just didn't have a personality, right? So you thought they probably just hired like a homeless guy to be on, and you happen to have really nice handwriting. So one day I was trying to buy a pen. The pen in question was, I believe it was the Homo sapien Florentine Hills. Okay? And I had a question about it. Goulet didn't have it on the website anymore, but Gold Spot did. And there was a phone number. So I'm like, I wonder if a human being will actually answer. Or is it going to be
not a
one of
homeless
those
one either?
Yeah. So I called and Dawn answered. You remember Dawn, right?
Of course I do.
Yeah, Dawn Johnson. She answers, and I had all these questions about the pen, and she talked to me for like a better part of an hour. And after the hour, I was like, you know what? She gave me as much information as she could, which was more information than I had before I made the phone call. She was very cool about talking to me about my stupid questions and then listening to my stupid banter. And if she didn't have an answer, she would find out, more than likely from you, get back to me in the same conversation. So I was like, you know what? I am going to make the purchase here. They deserve it. And I'm just impressed with Gold Spot being a legitimate retailer that's not just another...
You're getting choked up. It's very emotional for you.
I was drinking. No, I'm not getting choked up, but it was very emotional. No, so it was like it was like I couldn't believe that it was... They're not just any
other normal retailer. They're close to my heart.
So I was really impressed, and I bought it. I bought the pen. And then what I did, just to mess with Dawn, is I took a green... What is it? Do you remember what I did as a practical joke? It was a green... Pilot Metropolitan. I took a white paper label and taped onto the pen, Duhveena, spelled Duhveena. Oh, no. Oh, this was when I bought the Divina. The practical joke was for a Divina, not for the Florentine Hills.
Pen,
Yeah. But what ended up happening was I did buy a Visconti Divina in green from Dawn also at a later time. And then what I did was I took the pen out, put the Pilot Metropolitan in its place with the little white label that read Divina, took a picture of it and emailed her. And I was like, hey, listen, I really appreciate the pen, but this doesn't look like the Visconti. And she knew my personality by then, and she showed it to Sal, who had no idea who I was. And he was actually legitimately concerned that I was trying to screw them over. You know, and she's like, no.
The reason why you probably did that is because it's happened to us before. We probably shared one of those stories with you. At
that time I didn't know.
No, you didn't know it was.
I didn't know that people would do that. You know, and when I did that, she later said to me, she's like, "Oh my gosh, you cracked me up, but you almost gave my boss a heart attack." I'm like, "Why?" She's like, "Because he was like, are you sure that he's okay, he's cool, he's not really trying to pull anything here?" She's like, "No, I was on the phone with him for quite a while. He's bought a lot of pens." So I just thought that's a funny story to share when it comes to the time to talking about, because we're renewing the sponsorship for Goldspot, and it brings back fond memories of Goldspot and how I got started with Goldspot. So I was a customer with Goldspot myself for long enough, and then I started doing these reviews. I started with one pen, and I moved on to a couple, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm running out of pens. I really wish I had more pens, but I just don't have the ability to keep buying them. I got to work something out, and I talked to Dawn, and I bothered her to the point where she just dumped me on you. And that's how you and I started getting into working together.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun.
We developed this beautiful relationship.
Yeah.
Inside of pens.
And it's really kind of crazy because of my persistence to get pens to do reviews, because I wanted to do reviews. I wanted to make content and get involved. And I thought, you know what? Who better to get involved with than another pen nerd whose YouTube channel really sucks, just like mine. We can unsuck together. And I think since then, you've kind of come in strides way more than I have, because I think you have the advantage of it being a job.
Yeah,
right?
I do. It's unfair.
Yeah, whereas I have time to do it, then I can do it. And if I don't have time, I can't. Outside this podcast, if I don't have time, I just can't. But I just think that we came a long way in our own different ways, but we did it as a team. And I think it's really cool. I think this whole thing started, this whole Goldspot interaction, working with you and stuff like that, is one of the greatest things that came of the pen hobby for me. You're one of my best friends, and I appreciate it. And it's so awesome that we've gotten this far, and we're going to continue to go as far as we possibly can for as long as we possibly can.
Straight to the moon.
Right. To the moon. So all that to say, Goldspot Pens, thank you for sponsoring the PenBoyRoy Entertainment Podcast. Myself and Tom certainly do appreciate it. And I'm sure all of you guys appreciate it because of the fact that they're sponsoring. We can do stuff like coupon codes. Make sure to use coupon code Noodle. Right? It's still Noodle. Common spelling Noodle at checkout using the affiliate link in the description below. Click on that link, buy stuff, use the coupon code, help us out, keep us going. Because if it wasn't for you guys, they wouldn't be sponsoring us. If they weren't yielding results, the results that you guys are bringing in, it wouldn't work. And it works because of you guys. And Tom and I really appreciate it very much.
1,000,000%.
No, I'm 1,020%.
1,059.5%.
A million times infinity% I appreciate. So anyway, that's the longest sponsorship for Goldspot ever, followed by, I'm actually going to just use Bryce's read because this one actually really, really makes me laugh.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So this week, Platinum is introducing the newest limited edition member of the Preppy family, the Platinum Preppy Wa Maki-e. I didn't read the rest of it when I first got this read, and I started laughing. I'm like, are you kidding me? They're gonna turn the cheapest pen into the most expensive cheap pen ever.
Yes.
So anyway, 6 gorgeous designs applied by Platinum's modern Maki-e technique. So I'm thinking, wow, did they really take like a $4 pen and then dump 6 months of work and like hundreds of dollars of art into a $4 plastic straw with a nib? But I kept reading. Unlike conventional Maki-e, these designs are applied with silk screen printing instead of urushi lacquer on the under layer. So that makes sense. It's like, okay, if they really took a $4 pen and then dumped like $600 worth of work on it, I would have to go over to Platinum, smack them in the face, say, stop that, and then come back. But they didn't. So they actually went another route just so that it can have qualities that kind of emulate a $600 pen, but doesn't cost $600. So it's kind of awesome.
Right.
Okay, so let me just start again. Unlike the conventional Maki-e, these designs are applied with silk screen printing instead of urushi lacquer on the underlayer, which is then sprinkled with colored powders such as gold and silver and hand-finished one by one by Maki-e artisans. So there is individual hand finishing by Maki-e artisans that when it comes to this pen. It gives more thickness compared to normal printing, while the reflection and shades of the powders create these three-dimensional type feels. There's 6 different types. There's the Fuji, there's the Kuyo, there's the Fukura Suzume, the Shima Tutomoe, the Kiku Karakusa, and the Kachimushi. Those are 6 different pens. Now check out the price. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. What do you think it is?
$400.
No, stop it. People are going to hear that, remember that, and think that's true. The price is not $400. It is $10 per pen. I think that's kind of cool. I'm definitely going to get one because Tom's going to send me one. Coming to your favorite retailer, March 2023. I think that is really awesome. Do you know anything about this pen?
We dropped the ball on this.
No, stop. Just stop.
So this was announced to retailers like back in September, and I do recall, and I have an email receipt saying that I had sent it to the person who's usually adding the things to the website and to the ordering system to be able to order it. So when I saw this, naturally I was like, oh, I sent it to the same person again. Oh, could you add these? Because it said, oh, it's okay to talk about them now, the Preppy Wa Maki-e. So I said, oh, could you add this? So we added them. We ordered them now in 2023. And then we were told, no, they're no longer available. You guys didn't order them. So I was like, oh, okay. So unless somebody, maybe if they have extra, maybe Goldspot will have them. But unfortunately, no Wa Maki-e for Goldspot. So
you're telling me that you didn't decide not to order them, you messed up, and that's why you're not getting them?
Yes, the ball was dropped in getting them listed on the website and in the ordering management system. So, and then when we were reminded just last week that they were coming in and that coming in March, but that we could announce it and talk about it, I was like, oh, okay, well, we could list them now because I didn't see them previously. I didn't realize that we had seen them previously and the request was there, but it was never taken care of. So
you're fired.
Not followed up on either by myself. So I have no one to blame but me on that.
You're fired.
So
hashtag fire Tom.
Yep. That's it. But the second and the first are still available. I mean, they're just going to keep popping out these little $10 puppies, putting all sorts of different crazy finishes on them. So, yeah, maybe we'll hang out for the 4th one. We'll do
well, let's just make sure you respond to the emails.
Yeah, maybe they'll do some urushi lacquer on the 4th one.
Right.
Yeah.
The next one's going to be like...
They'll put some Rodden on it.
It's going to be like pure Rodden urushi lacquer. Yeah. Each one's going to be $700, which will be cheap for an Rodden urushi lacquer pen with 40 layers of urushi.
And they'll go the Yafa route and do abalone all over it. They'll just slap that thing with abalone shell.
It's going to be the most expensive cheap pen ever.
Yeah. I mean,
but
why not?
Listen, You know, Gold Spot may not be getting him. There's going to be plenty of retailers out there who didn't drop the ball.
Yep.
Who is in March of 2023 getting the gorgeous Platinum Preppy Wa Maki-e. I mean, listen, if you've never had Maki-e, like if you don't have the ability to get yourself one of these, like this is the Nippon Art by Platinum, it's Maki-e, because those are $600, and you want to start into the world of Maki-e, this is kind of like definitely an option. $10. I don't think it's a bad idea. I'm gonna have to actually get one myself.
For what it's worth, the Preppy's a great pen, I think,
Absolutely.
to have in your arsenal if you want to mess with all sorts of different types of inks that you don't want to put in your fancy pens.
Right.
So, you know, one that is a little bit more fancier can be appealing, but yet be that type of pen that you don't mind, let's say, bringing with you on a trip and accidentally, hey, it gets smushed in your bag or whatever, or you lose it. Not a huge deal. It was only $10. But it was nice. It was a nice $10 purchase. So yeah.
So finally, I want to talk about my good friend Neil, who is also renewing his sponsorship for the PenBoyRoy Entertainment Podcast and his company, brlcoffeeco.com. That's the wrong mug, man. You can't hold up a Rook coffee mug while I'm talking about BRL Coffee Co. While I'm wearing a gray coffee company.
It just says Jersey. That's it.
Okay. brlcoffeeco.com. Be sure to use coupon code ROY at checkout for an additional savings on all products on the brlcoffeeco.com website. I'm giving you grief about the mug. Meanwhile, I'm wearing a different coffee company hat.
Well, I just thought you were supporting Aliens. That's all. It's the gray. It's like, or Grey's Anatomy. Something.
No, Gray is the name of the cafe in Queens where I go to get my matcha latte.
Gray is such a very nondescript, very brief word. It doesn't have that much, connotation to it.
We're plugging brlcoffeeco.com and to use coupon code ROY at checkout for an additional
BRL Coffee Co. That has a ring to it. It has identity, it has uniqueness. Gray, not so much. Just very bland.
You don't have to put down the gray. The gray is a great cafe.
Sorry, it's just I see a hat. It says gray. I don't know what that means.
All right, stop. You're ruining the sponsorship read, which is no longer a read. It's just a complete and total ad lib. brlcoffeeco.com. Check it out for all your coffee swag with the best types of coffee, best tasting coffee that you could ever buy. It's the greatest coffee ever made in the history of anything ever made ever, and it has different caffeine contents. And it's just smooth caffeine, folks. It does not give you the crackhead jitters. Now, I want to get on with this week's episode, but I can't unless I give you the disclaimer because I got to be myself. This podcast is not scripted,
I'm gonna buy some coffee
and therefore will
that.
Contain potty mouth words, both from Tom and I, mostly from me. So be forewarned. You have been warned. Now, on to the podcast.
The PenBoyRoy Entertainment Podcast. Stay savage.
Did you say you were just gonna? Did you say you're gonna buy some coffee while I'm?
I'm gonna buy some coffee while we're on the podcast.
Where are you gonna buy coffee from?
From BRL Coffee Co. I'm gonna use
promo
code ROY.
Yeah, you should.
I should get a BRL Coffee Co. mug too, so I can have it on the show for effect.
The one I like is the one that says "I hate it here." Now,
I hate it.
I actually worked out him comping you some stuff, but you screwed that up somehow. Remember?
Well, yeah, I did.
You dropped the ball on that
because
one.
there was part that was a giveaway, and then there was the other. And I was giving everything away. So
yeah, but you have to give it away to people listening, not just random people in the office all day long. Yeah, that's the whole point.
Oh, I kind of like this. I like this bruh mug. It just says bruh, because my kids say bruh. Dude. My kids say bruh all the time.
I want to talk about somebody that's pen relevant. Okay,
pen relevant.
Pen relevant.
That's a new word. I like it.
Yeah, I like it. I make up stuff. But I want to talk about my friend Sirada. She works for EA Games. She used to work for Ubisoft. She can be found on Ghoulie Nation on Facebook under Sirada Jensen. And what's really cool about her is she is a huge fountain pen nerd, just deeply infected with the fountain pen virus. And she loves fountain pens and she loves video games because she makes video games. So the last time I spoke to her was a couple of days ago to celebrate the launch of Dead Space, the remake. So basically, I think it was 2007. There was a game that came out on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 called Dead Space. It was by EA. Now, In this
I
game,
played that first spell. It was a very... I didn't finish the game or anything. I think
Neither
I
did
played
I.
like the first couple levels or something.
it was
like that.
such a good game. Now it has a different take on killing. I think they called it necromorphs, but they're like monsters, right?
Yeah.
So the main character Isaac, he has this gun that shoots out 3 beams like straight out. And you know how in most games where you want to kill the bad guy, or you want to kill the zombie, or you want to kill the monster, you blow off its head, it dies. In this game, nothing dies. You can only immobilize them. So instead of shooting off their head, you have to shoot off these like crazy looking,
Appendages.
scary
Right?
monster spider
Legs, arms, yeah.
Right. And it was such a good game. And I remember the reason why I didn't finish it back then was because the game was so fucking scary.
It was.
And
scary.
that was back when it was, right? And that was back when it was on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. I think I got it on Xbox 360 because at the time I was such an Xbox fanboy. But I couldn't play it because there was a part where like this monster's chasing me and I just couldn't kill it and I couldn't figure out how to do it. And then after I figured out how to do it, because my friend told me, oh, you got to do this X, Y, and Z, I'm like, I don't have enough courage to get back into the game, so I never fit. I shit you not.
do it.
I couldn't do it. I never finished it, right? And now, I think however many years later, 16, I don't know, when did the first Dead Space come out? Can you look that up?
Oh, see, hold on.
I think it's like
Shopping for coffee.
2009. But anyway, years later, EA has made a new remake for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series XS, and it's super graphically up there. Like, if this game was scary before, like, just so much more realism, graphics, all kinds of stuff, frame rate, put that into it even more, make it even more atmospheric, make it look more freaky. Now they just re-released it.
It's 2008 when that first came out.
Okay, 2008 when it first came out. Now they re-released it this year, 2023. Now it's like this new game came out. I personally don't think I have the courage to play it, but I'm going to try, right? I'm totally going to buy the game again. I'm going to throw it into my PlayStation 5 and see how I do. Because I was watching the reviews and I was looking at the graphics. They're so good. I'm like, wow, this is going to not... I have to wear a diaper playing this game. Because this is not only going to just scare me, I am going to shit myself while playing it. But I honestly think that it's really going to be cool. The whole reason I mentioned it is because I spoke to her a couple of days ago and she wants to celebrate it and she was thinking about a pen to buy to celebrate it. She's considering a Tebaldi.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, I have a Tebaldi here, and you know I love Tebaldi. And she was thinking, like, what do you think? So, I mean, I honestly love the Tebaldi. I love the way it writes. I love that it's, like, really well-made, solid acrylic pen. And some of their designs are very avant-garde. And some of them are very vintage-based, you know? I think they're great pens. They have ebonite feeds. They're a touch pricey for what they are, I gotta be honest, and I think that has a lot to do with like distribution, the fact they're distributed by Yafa brands. It's just a little bit expensive, but I think it's a great pen. And I definitely think, I don't know, I think it's a great pen. What do you think about it for Sirada? Should she get the Tebaldi? Which one did she say she was going to get? I'll tell you in 1 second. Let me just go into my phone. Like, I want to know what you think. She's looking at the Bennonia in olive green.
The Bennonia in olive green. I'm just looking that up here.
Yeah.
Let's see. Bennonia.
So
That's
I'm
like
just
the
messaging her back.
spaghetti. That's like kind of like the spaghetti resin.
Yeah.
Okay. Am I right? Where's the price for this thing?
I don't know.
Let me see. Apple Boom. Oh no, Goulet has it. Okay, so you have it's called the Martini olive, right? Is that what it is? Martini
I
olive?
guess so. She
So-
said the Bennonia and green olive
Yeah, it's $295 MSRP.
So what is it after?
After a nice little discount, $236. So I'm gonna say Leonardo Momento Zero in the alga seaweed for $160, right?
Well, can you bring up both? Can you bring up both on the screen
I
so
might.
everybody can see?
I might do that here. Let me see.
Screen share. It's crazy. It's my software. I have no idea how to screen share. I left it up to you.
I am the technical assistant. That's my
Oh,
assisting
my gosh.
capabilities on the podcast.
I don't know what I would do without you, bro.
You would have a single podcast that would not have much in terms of visual effects here. It would still work in audio, so that's at least good.
Right.
So let's.
I mean, there are people who might not be watching, so we'll talk about what we're bringing up on the screen. But we're going to do a comparison right now of the Tebaldi Bononia in olive green, and we're going to compare it to a Leonardo Momento Zero in similar color. Now the price difference is somewhat dramatic. It's almost like what, $70 difference between the two, with the Leonardo being less expensive. Ooh,
I hear cats meowing.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
They already ate. Like, they're lying right now. They're lying to the public. Don't believe their lies. They're
Trying to
are
get your
well-fed.
sympathy. Do not fall for it. Do not fall for it.
Right. Like, I fed them. Like, my wife fed them twice today. I fed them a little while ago when I got home, and I gave them treats, so don't believe their lies. Now, that Tebaldi Bononia Olive Martini, it looks really nice. It is a $236 pen.
Right.
I think it's really gorgeous.
Steel nib, ebonite feed, cartridge converter. Right.
Right.
Bononia's their cartridge converter.
Okay, and now we're looking at, for everybody who's listening, we are looking at gouletpens.com, and we went to brands Tebaldi, Bononia, Fountain Pen, Martini, Olive, and it's really a gorgeous pen. The shape, people will say, oh, it's the same thing as the Leonardo Furora. It's not. It's different. It's different. I know that because I have them both, and I held them both in my hands. Which one do I prefer? We'll talk about that after we show the other one. But we want... Okay, so you can't compare that pen with this pen. Totally different greens. And on top of that, totally different shape. The Bononia that she was looking at is missile-shaped. It has the fucking...
It's got the rounded torpedo-like ends, right?
Right, but this looks like a Delta Journal type shape. That's not...
Yeah, it's got the conical point.
Right, but let's compare...
a little bit more blocky looking.
Right, but let's compare. Go back to the Bononia real quick. And let's find a pen that we can compare it to that's not...
I'm just going to keep doing that every
different.
time I switch tabs.
Do it.
Boop.
That's perfect. So, I don't know. I don't think that's a fair comparison. Look up the Furora as Furora.
I think it's as close. I think it's as close of a comparison as you're going to get in the color family, because there's no
totally
green
different.
Furora.
No, this one is like a seaweed olive green. The Furora that you showed up that's not even close.
Right, let's look. Let's look at a Furora, and that's Grandes. Can't compare.
That's
that
like
there.
giving somebody a cup of green tea and then a Granny Smith apple and saying they're the closest things you can find to each other.
Oh, stop it.
Totally different. Not even close, man. That was bad. It was like, you're dropping the ball again. Say goodbye to
But I was just saying, the
Preppy Was.
color-wise, I can't really find an exact analog here, but let's go...
There isn't.
Boop. Let's go to the emerald blue, which is probably one of the more highly sought-after types of models when it comes to the Furora, is this beautiful chatoyant and marbled-looking blue color. It's not the spaghetti resin, but that's where I kind of felt that the Momento Zero and the Alga Seaweed had a much stronger comparison, because you're talking spaghetti resin, which has that kind of like celluloid-ish sort of look where it's got the stripes going down the side and it's got a deep amount of chatoyance on it, and they were in the similar color family in green. But it did not have the torpedo shape. The Furora has a torpedo shape with the rounded ends.
Well, so now the problem is, though, like, I don't know if she picked the Bononia because of its shape, because if it was because of if it was because of the shape and design, then yes, we can compare with the Leonardo Furora. But if
Right.
it was because of the color, then you can't compare with anything because the Momento Zero you showed is just so far
It's not the same
away.
right?
Yeah, it's not even in the same like color spectrum. So
This is bronze. This is a
I mean,
brown color. Aqua
Yeah,
Petra is freaking gorgeous. This one is
I'm not into that color.
No, you don't like it?
No, I don't like
This
it.
is a gorgeous one. Really nice. Oh, ginger's nice too. Don't you have a ginger?
Oh,
You have
I
the
do.
ginger.
I have it right here. Love the ginger, my friend.
Isn't this the one
Love-
that Esterbrook made? It's a like a what they call the cola. Then they have a cola one that was like this with that type.
Dude, I lost track of the colors that Esterbrook comes out with like 55 colors ago, which was only like 3 weeks ago.
By the way, forgot
Hmm?
to mention it. The noodle coupon code now does work on Esterbrook because they came around. They came around.
Really?
They said, we don't want to be that type of manufacturer anymore. We will allow that discount code to be applied. So,
Oh wow,
yes. So,
I'm surprised.
there you go. It's just something that just popped in my head. We could continue with the discussion of the Furores and the Tibaldis and the Bononias.
So I don't know. I have to go back to Sirada's selection, and let's take a look at the Bononia in like Martini Olive. That pen, the Martini Olive Tibaldi Bononia, is far too different and unique compared to the other colors that Leonardo offers. Even the way the cap. Can you go back to the picture of the pen where it's just capped and closed?
Oh, close? Okay.
All right, see that? It's different than the Fiora in that it's not a seamless cap. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
The cap has a step
des-
between that and the barrel.
right, and it's just a different design than the Fiora. Yeah, they're similar in that they're both pointed top missile shaped pens, but the Tibaldi is uniquely different from the Fiora. And I know it's
Well,
easy
that's
for
not
people
the-
to be like,
But that's not the main point of the discussion. I think it's more about like what should Sirada go with? Should it be the Tibaldi, Bononia, or are we talking about something different? And that's where I was kind of like, I threw out doing a Leonardo, either the Momento Zero or the Furore, because the Furore is closer in its design, and you still get some really nice, pretty Italian acrylics.
So the thing is, though, I'm pretty sure she has some Leonardos already.
Okay.
And I think she is interested in this one because of the design and because of the color and is how unique that is.
Okay.
And then I don't think she'll miss out in the fact that the way, I mean, what I think she'll gain or what will be good is she's going to have a writing experience that differs from Leonardo because it's going to have a ebonite feed. I don't know what kind of nib they have. I suspect it's Bach. The brand likes to say it's not Bach and then that they keep it a secret. That looks like a Bach. nib. Yeah. But whatever. The writing experience is really good, and I genuinely like the feed, and I think that it's a really good pen. So if she were thinking about the Tibaldi Bononia, and she wants to get that algae green or martini olive green, whatever they want to fucking call it,
Martini.
I think it's a good call. Where I don't think it would be a good call is if you wanted to spend $200 or less, because it's $236. That's all. You know, for an acrylic pen, that's a lot considering
lot.
the pedigree. Yeah. Considering the pedigree, the Leonardos are 150 to 160. You know, Franklin Christophs are 175. Fucking Edison's are 170. Right? Like if you think of all these other brands, this one's a little bit high.
Steel nib, cartridge converter, very similar ballpark you're talking.
Yeah. I think it's a great pen. I just think that
If this was a Monte Grappa, this would be like $350 easy.
Oh,
So-
if this were a Monte Grappa, you'd have to mortgage your house and then like
Not
sell your
advisable
spleen.
in this market, my friend. Interest rates are
Right.
too
She has
high.
Sirada's got good taste though, I'll tell you, because she picked out a good pen. Like that's a nice pen. That's a nice pen. I'm wondering though why she came to that, and I don't know. I would say go for it, Sirada. I would say go for it. I don't think after buying it you'd be like, oh shit, I don't like this. I'm not happy with this. I don't think she would do that. I think she would like it. I think because I really enjoy my Tebaldi, and this Tebaldi is the what is this one called? I did a review on it. I can't remember
the
name.
N60.
The N60. I really like this one, and I like the vintaginess. I like the tortoiseshell. I think Tebaldi makes a great pen. I think it's a little bit more than it needs to be because of distribution, and there's nothing you can do about that. Otherwise,
Now,
Tebaldi wouldn't know how to.
if you had $200 and you just had $200 to blow, what pen would you buy?
Oh Jesus! You want to drop the screen down? So now that we're, I don't know. Let's shop for one. Let's go to a retailer and let's shop. Let's shop. If I could buy a pen, and since Goldspot's sponsoring the podcast, let's bring up Goldspot and let's shop for a pen.
I guess we could do that.
If I had $200, what would I fucking spend it on?
I mean, this is obviously first suggestions.
Right, no, go to brands. This is how I'm going to take you.
So we're going to go to shop category, and then we're going to go to ballpoint pens, right?
That's not you, fuck. That's not how I do this. We're going to go through my shopping. We're going to go through my shopping. I'm telling you right now, if your nuts were in front of me, I would kick them. Click on brands. This is my shopping process.
Okay.
And then I literally scan up and down. So like you have 4 columns for those of you guys not watching. A through G. Column 2 is H through N. Column 3 is O through R. And column 4 is S through Z. So I'll literally just go down and be like Aurora, Benu. I know Aurora, I'm not buying anything for $200 or less. Benu, maybe. So I'm going to keep that in mind. Caran Dash.
You could get some Ypsilons. They're probably like one of the most popular Auroras that are sold are the Ypsilons. And they go for like low 100s.
Is that so?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm thinking, now that you sneaky bastard, now I'm starting to want myself an Ypsilon. Caran Dash, Clairefontaine's paper, Conklin. I always look at Conklins because they come out with some inexpensive stuff, and they're interesting. Cross pens, I don't know. I would skip cross pens because sometimes I'm just like, you know what? It's just
there's really not a lot going on there anyway because they haven't released that much over the last year, so the company's not doing all that well in terms of releasing their new product. I mean, they were supposed to have the Year of the Rabbit. They've been doing the Chinese Zodiac since the Year of the Dragon, and we're just 1 year away from completing that cycle. And they're having some issues with getting stuff out. So hopefully they could at least complete that, because that would be good to have like the full set.
So keep going with continuing on. Diplomat, I would look at. Edison, Esterbrook, I would look at. Though Esterbrook hasn't really been coming out with anything. It's just the same thing in different colors.
Right.
So I would look at what kind of colors they got. Endless is coming out with a new retractable pen for $50.
I saw that. I just hope that it holds up to, because the key with it is inexpensive. It's made out of ABS plastic, but the key to that is it going to hold up? Is it going to work the way that it's supposed to? It's a retractable pen. It's not easy for people to just engineer these things and not have them like dry out or have spring malfunctions and things like that. They got to do this right. So we'll see. Yeah.
So let's take a look. So going on to the next column, Ikemeyer, Zaratoya, Jack Zaguri, J. Harban, Kaveco, Kilk I would keep in mind, Laban I would keep in mind, Leonardo, I have enough of Leonardos, Mobius and Rupert, no, Montegrappa, not getting anything for $200. Monteverde I would look at. Namiki, I'm not getting anything for that, so I'd skip. Narwhal, Navalar, I'll take a look at that, even though the second name annoys me. Noodler's Ink in pens, I don't know, I'd probably pass just because I'm not in the mood for something that smells like butthole. The next thing is Opus 88. I'm not really crazy about Opus 88 and their plunger mechanism.
Okay.
Yeah. Auto Hut, not getting anything under $200. Parker, I could get that on Amazon for like $20 because something's going on with the Parker pricing. That's an issue, right? Pelican,
nothing under. I mean, you could possibly get like a M200.
Yeah, or
for under 200.
I mean, but I'm still annoyed with the Pelican pricing.
Yeah,
I'm annoyed that Gary has never gotten back to us. What was it, a year and a half ago? We had an interview. He said he's going to fix the whole pricing thing, and then we would revisit in like 6 months. Ghosted me ever since then.
Yeah.
All right. That's called ducking me. It's called being a wuss. Unless he gets on the show, then he's not a wuss. Right?
Oh,
It's like, how do you justify a $600 pen in Europe that's sold for like $1 million here, right? Come on. Whatever. I'm moving on. Penlux I would look at. Pen BBS, I don't know. That's definitely under 200. Peniter, I'll pass. Platinum I would look at because you can get the Sentries.
Or you could get an Akuridas to replace the one that you lost.
There you go. Let's see what else. All right, next line. I would definitely look at Sailors because you can get Sailors under $200 and they're fantastic pens. Shown Design. I don't think you can get to under 200. Can you?
No, they have. There's a few of them that are inexpensive under that. Yeah, there's a few of them, but the ones that are carried through Gold Spot are just like the very basic. Like there's black aluminum, like all the fun stuff that usually people buy at pen shows. Those are only on Shown's website. So, but I think they still do just for a standard like Pocket 6 or something. I think they are under 200 though.
Yeah.
Let me take a look.
Gee. So if I had to pick a brand that I'm going to spend $200, buy a pen for $200, gee, after all that scrolling, $200. I don't know. I'm looking down all the lists. My eyes keep going to Edison for some reason.
Okay.
Click on the Edison. Click on Edison.
Click on the Edison.
All right, and now I would look at all the designs, and I want to click on the Edison Comet for some reason. They're $169.
The Comet. Comet has a very interesting shape, and its defining characteristic is that cap finial, because it's basically has like a semicircle of a dome, and the dome is a clear or translucent acrylic that's colored that then matches, but doesn't exactly match the rest of the acrylic of the pen, because the rest of the acrylic of the pen is like a swirly or marbled acrylic, and that acrylic at the very top of the cap is just plain translucent. So it kind of acts like almost as a magnifying glass. It's kind of cool.
Right.
You could just run it across paper and it just makes things all bubbly looking and stuff. So
I don't know, dude. I don't like it. I'm not crazy about it.
What's
so we're gonna
really
back
nice,
out.
though, I mean, what's really nice about this, two things, is that when you have the pen capped, it does look very much, it's streamlined, so it does very much look like a comet. It's like the cap finial is like the head of the comet, and then the rest of it is the tail. And then because of that shape tapering in the barrel, the cap it posts really nice and secure and really deep. So this is good for if you like a posting pen.
I don't know. Can you go back to the capped look of the pen? It looks like this pen started off as a Beaumont.
It could have, possibly. I know that tends to be what happens when there's experimentation involved with the various models, is that they may start from, let's say a Collier, and then they make little modifications, and all of a sudden a Collier becomes a Menlo, because they wanted to combine two different elements of certain pens and then make something that's in between.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I want to know something.
No,
So
can't.
it doesn't appeal to me, but I want to click on the 2 reviews. For some reason, I'm looking at the reviews that are there. It's out of 5 stars. So far, there's 2 reviews, and it got 3 out of 5 stars.
Let's see.
So, let's see. So, one reviewer gave it 1 star.
Okay.
I'm going to read the review. So, Candy, is this a verified purchase? Like, can you...
The one below, Steve K says verified buyer, but Candy is not verified.
What does that mean if you're verified?
Means that it the customer was logged in to their account, and it's verified that they had purchased that item. So they are definitely if they say verified buyer next to it, they purchased that item under their account, and they also wrote the review.
So is it possible that Candy purchased it under her account, just wasn't logged in when she made the review?
Possibly. I mean, it's still, I feel that, as you read the review, you'll understand. It's like, okay, maybe it might be valid, but maybe they just might be a little, picky about it. Because I mean, I've opened these boxes before, and they don't emit an odor, not anywhere near the level of a noodler's stench. Okay,
No.
so
I don't think fucking taking a hot steamy dump admits the odor that a noodler's pen. But let me read the review by Candy, the 1-star. Nice pen, really. The design is lovely and the nib is smooth. However, the resin smells terrible and indicates to me it was either not cured fully or was cured incorrectly, likely with no degassing period before shipping. This means that the pen smells so bad it can leave a room with a chemical smell within about 30 minutes and the pen is essentially unusable. If it wasn't over $100, we would have just thrown it away. As it is right now, it's sitting in an open box in the garage in the hopes that it will one day be usable and not smell terrible. Well, why didn't they reach out to you and, like, complain about it and get a refund or something?
This is separate. Reviews are separate, so they may have possibly and had done something like that, but they wanted to leave a review too. But
maybe respond to the review.
Well, I mean, what can you say?
Say, listen, reach out to us. We'll help you out.
Yeah, well, that could have been it's back in November, so that could have been back channeled already, but there wasn't anything posted directly on here, like publicly. But yeah, that could have been handled already. Which it usually is. If it was that big of a grievance, then it would have. But then also, too, is it could be because of the fact that it's not verified. Some people, you could actually go on here if you wanted to. Like it says here, you could post a review. You could come in here and be able to post a review and not had actually purchased it through the website. Like it's possible to do that. So
it's possible to just write a review and be total bullshit?
Could be.
I'm not saying that's what happened here, because as much as I could say that this review is bullshit, I could also say it's someone who genuinely bought the pen, just didn't log in, because sometimes your shit gets logged out when you close the screen.
Absolutely.
And then just wrote a review on it because she's pissed off, or whoever Candy may be. But let's look at Steve, the verified buyer. The comment is a very attractive pen that is comfortable to hold, and the cap is very secure when posted. I bought the extra fine nib, and it wrote well right out of the package. Well, that's not surprising for an Edison pen. Edison pens right out of the box usually write like savages. And typically, because I have a lot of experience with Edison pens, I think Edison was crack to me back in like 2018. And I bought Edison pens that Brian made like a week before it got to me. I had Edison pens that Brian made a year before it got to me. I had pens that he made just for me and sent it to me, and it was finished 3 days before it got to me. And yes, sometimes these acrylics have somewhat of a smell to them, but it's a hint of a smell, and I personally like it. I've never heard of an Edison pen that smells like something that can stink up a room.
Yeah,
like it were some sort of a dead body or something like that. Because what this person Candy's describing is what you would say about a dead body in a closet.
Well, it would be like a noodler's pen to an extreme. It would be that.
Right. It would be right. So like a noodler's pen, it smells bad when you hold it in your hands and you're writing with it. I've left noodler's pens in a hot car, and it didn't stink up my car. You know what I'm saying? Like, what kind of acrylic pen did she? Like, what is she experiencing that it's so bad that it stinks up a whole room? Right? That seems extremely exaggerated. I'm not saying she's lying. I'm just saying there's a chance she's lying. Or
there's a chance it could be. It's a chance that it could be an exaggeration, possibly. But that's. That's why you got to take reviews in general with a grain or two, and get several people's opinions too. It's just like having just two sets of data points is not enough. You might want to jump on checking out some reviews of people that have done reviews for pens before, and a guy like David Parker would shoot you straight on this and be like, hey,
right.
This kind of had like a funky little smell coming out of the box. So he says something, then there's something up with it. But
hey, how come you're not mentioning me? I'm pretty good with reviews.
Well, what was the last review that you did, my friend?
Yeah, it's been a while. Can you close the screen?
Yeah.
Can you close the screen? So, you know what's fucked up, and I'm guilty of it too, is Going back, when was the last time I did a review? It's been a while. I've been so, what's going on in my life work-wise and everything like that, so major moves. But the next one is going to be, when I get a chance to it's got to be the Wanchers that that are due, that are owed. But going back to what I was saying was fucked up. How many times did you scroll through reviews, whether it be on Amazon or any website, and you just scroll past the 5 stars, the 4.5 stars, and you're just looking for the 1 to 2 or the low scores?
That is what I tend to do. Yes, because I think the people who write the copy, the sales copy, the people who market it effectively, they tout all of the benefits and the high points of the item. I want to know what people like. If it has negative reviews, I want to know what those negative points are, because the marketing copy is not going to address those. It's only people who have received it and have deep regret or anger over these things that will actually, say something about it. So
yeah, but you know what the thing is, though? It's kind of fucked up, because you're going to the bad stuff that doesn't represent the entire picture. It probably represents only like 1% of the entire picture. I do the same thing. Like if I'm buying something on Amazon, I look at the reviews and it has like a 4.9, 20,000 reviews. I'm scrolling to the 1 stars for some reason.
Yep.
It's almost like everything. Like, how many times in the newspaper does a news article tell you that a plane successfully landed and everybody landed safely and is healthy and went about their way?
It's only the times that things go terribly wrong that are of interest to us.
Yeah. It's only when they crash. And I don't know. It's kind of messed up. I just wish just looking at that review for the Edison Comet, the 1-star review was like a whole paragraph. The 5-star review was a sentence. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I left a review on Google for Fish World USA.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I took
you leave a review for Gold Spot pens on there?
Not on Fish World USA.
No.
But I wrote out like a novella, like a fucking like
and it's not going to be read by people like you or me. We're not going to care.
It was definitely a good review. You know what I mean? Because I think people are more inclined to write a bad review than to write a good review.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel like I should be paid for good reviews. I don't know. No. It's just me. I have a hard time filling out surveys or anything. I'm just like, I have no qualms with you, good people. Just leave me alone. And
no, you can't.
But then
you can't say that.
You give me a little. You give me a little bit of cash. Give me some incentive. Throw something my way. I'll write a review for you.
Don't say that, because people are going to believe you. You know, you're joking, and you know it. Everybody should know that you're joking, because as soon as as soon as a good review can be bought, you have no credibility whatsoever. You know
That's
what I mean?
true.
Hey,
That's
fuck
true.
it. If Jaffa Brands paid me $10 million to say that the Monteverde Mountains of the World is just the best pen in the entire world, I think $10 million is a good number to go ahead and break that rule. You give me $10 million.
Everybody's got their price.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their price.
But as far as I'm concerned, no one's giving me $10 million to say good things about something that I don't think is good. And secondly, I don't think anybody gives a shit about my opinion enough to pay me that much money to say something is good when I don't think it's good. You know what
question.
I mean?
Coarse grind is for like French press, right?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
How would I know?
I think it is.
Why are my cats like... For everybody listening, my cats are very well fed. They are extremely spoiled. So if you hear them crying in the background, do not believe their lies. They are well fed and they are very happy.
I'm sure anybody with cats is going to just be like, "Yep, cats are being dicks right now."
They understand. Yeah. So I don't know why you brought up coarse grind, but
so I was just checking out on brlcoffee.com. So I'm getting that mug.
Oh, coarse grind is for a French press.
Yes,
I thought you were talking about like I thought you were talking about like
Oh, nibs,
like
like coarse grind
WordPress,
nib?
no WordPress and like blogging websites.
Oh my gosh, there should be a lineup. That's it. There should be a lineup of nibs, and like one of them would be. Well, there is a course. There's a course nib at Platinum, which is basically like a double broad, but there should be like all the nib sizes are named after different grinds of coffee.
Well, just so you know, the coarse grind I believe is for the French press. And then like the ultra fine grind is for espressos, and then
there's like the auto drip one, which is just your standard coffee maker.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think but you'll definitely like my favorite one is the Kiss of Life. It's
We
the
all know
Guavas
this.
roast.
If anybody's listened to a recent episode of the Petertainment podcast, we all know this. It's part of the read.
Yes.
We're gonna
No,
see
that's
what
actually-
my favorite coffee is. We're gonna find because I got the sampler pack. That I will finally enjoy all of the different coffees. So I will let you know in a few weeks because
Yeah.
you know, I have
Oh,
to go
by the
through all of
way,
them.
I was supposed to interview a friend of mine with regard to an ADHD charity, but that fell to the wayside and has to be rescheduled. And we're both excited about doing it. But if you're wondering why the episode hasn't come out yet, it's because hey, Oreo, my cat just came into the room. It's because of that reason. Hey, baby, come here. I love you. So yeah, so we're gonna get to it. We just have to reschedule it. So this cat here, come here. He's up here. He is the most friendly tuxedo cat in the world. He's just such a good boy. So anyway, what was I saying?
So your friend, would it be like this sort of thing where it's on a video call sort of thing?
Yeah,
That we
yeah,
do-
same,
okay.
same thing.
Yeah. Let me know if you do reschedule it. I'd be interested in joining too.
Sure, absolutely.
So-
I think that would be a great conversation, and I think it's definitely essential and it's definitely needed
Yeah.
to bring an understanding of ADHD to the forefront. And I think part of treating ADHD, hey, what are you doing? Treating ADHD is making children and adults who have ADHD not feel like something is uniquely and just wrong with them. Because growing up with it myself, you do feel like you're just wrong. You're just off and everybody else isn't. And that's such an alienating feeling. And there's no good that comes out of feeling that way.
Yeah.
And when teachers don't even know how to handle it or identify it, it really doesn't help. You can feel like, because kids with ADHD, they have trouble focusing, but they're extremely creative. They're very sharp. They're very intelligent. They're just not able to focus. And they're very sensitive as well. And they can pick up on things like the teacher doesn't like me. The teacher favors everybody else except me. The teacher, sighs before having to say something to me or something like that. You pick up on all those things. You can feel the resentment. And I think that if they have a great understanding, there wouldn't be as much resentment,
Are
So,
there any particular strategies that we could discuss in relation to writing or with pens in particular? Maybe
I'm sure there is.
Yeah, some things that may be helpful.
I think writing has helped. In me in particular, loving pens, loving the writing experience helped me a lot when it came to just kind of focusing and studying. And it's kind of like a cheat because I liked writing, so what I would do is to learn stuff, I would write it out. And it's good that I'm writing stuff out. I'm sitting there for hours writing stuff out. The problem is I'm focused on the writing experience and the pen more than I am on what I'm writing. So I lose out there. But I always say, man, if I had fountain pens or loved fountain pens when I was a kid, maybe my life would be different right now. Maybe my successes would have been better, or my successes would be different. You know what I mean? I don't know where I would be if I was able to cope or treat ADHD as a kid. I don't know where I would be now as an adult. I can just say that I'm certainly happy with where I am as an adult and who I've become. And the struggle led me to where I am a lot of times, because a lot of times in school, you may not have done this, Tom, but you save the homework till the morning it's due, and then you wait until the beginning of the class that it's due, and you're trying to scramble to do it before they ask you to turn it in. Mm-hmm. And then when you get into situations like that, you really do create and come up with creative, innovative ways of dealing with problems that without that challenge you never would have had to in the first place. You know what I mean?
Push yourself into a corner and then fight your way back out of it.
Yeah, that's pretty much my life in a nutshell. I don't know where I would be if I was treated. I don't know if it would have been good if I was treated. And when I say treated, I mean like with medication. Never took medication. I don't know what it's like. I don't know what it does. I don't know what it does if you're 15 or 12 taking it until you're an adult. I don't know. I just don't think it would be good, because from my understanding, ADHD medication affects norepinephrine levels in the brain, right? And norepinephrine is something that your brain is supposed to produce. And you know my feelings on exogenous hormones or anything, right? Like if you are supplementing hormones exogenously, I don't believe that can ever be good, unless of course like you have a medical condition and it's necessary, which ADHD is. But I feel like if there's a way that you don't have to take, hormones or
treat the problem systemically, as opposed to, because like there's really no way to just attack it with just one particular like dose of medication. Like it has to be that you affect other things while taking medication for it, and that's the thing that you're saying is undesirable, because then it has other side effects or other effects to your system that could be detrimental or even worse.
I think the more effective way of dealing with ADHD is the more challenging way, and that is through diet. I think it's through activity. I think it's through routine activity, routine diet, and I think it's also about therapy. And I don't mean therapy like going to see a shrink all the time. I'm talking about therapy in any form, whether it be meditation or some sort of martial art or something like that, which goes back to activity. I mean, I think that's the most effective, but it's just the most challenging. Diet, I think, is the most effective. It's just very challenging when you're talking about kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you tell kids not to have Skittles. First thing they're going to do when they're not
of cake
visible,
or ice cream,
right? Is eat Skittles.
Anything that has carbs in it, because they love carbs.
Yeah. But this guy has so much insight and information on ADHD, and I really think that it may not be entirely relevant to pens and journaling, but I think it's really relevant to life, and just I think that we can definitely talk about it with my experience and his experience.
Yeah.
With his
well, I mean,
kids
it's the
and
Pentertainment podcast,
Right.
So there's pens, there's entertainment, and then there's the ment, which is short for mental. So there you go.
Right. So this is my cat's tail poking up into my face, not my own weird looking hairy dick. So he's a good boy.
I don't know I don't know what you like going on Tuesday nights here.
Right. But okay, so yeah, that episode's definitely going to happen. I need to make it happen. It's definitely going to. We just need to schedule time for it and everything like that. But it's about that time. We're going to have to start wrapping this up. I want to thank everybody for joining us on the episode number 152. I love you guys. Be well. Be safe.
Stay inky.